office worker. I work in HR at a biotech company in Cambridge. I think I started really putting some attention on my fitness 2.5 years ago, I think, when I came in here. So when I started at Tradewinds, I started out as a personal training client. I really liked the one-on-one atmosphere, and I did try the group classes. They were enjoyable, but I ultimately like getting a little bit more direct instruction from the coach, a little bit more one-on-one, a little bit shorter. The 30-minute slot is a little better for me than a full hour of CrossFitting. Before I came in, I think it was just looking for a gym in Winthrop that was going to be convenient. I think my biggest challenge in committing some time to fitness was just squeezing it in, making a space for it, making the time for it. And so I wanted something that was close to home, that I could kind of roll out of bed, drive a few minutes, get there, get in, and get out, and get on with my day. So that was sort of what attracted me to Tradewinds. But then when I came in, met with Mary, had a sit down conversation, and kind of dug into more of the, why do you want to do this? What are your goals? How are you going to commit to this? That started to kind of get me thinking a little bit more about this gym being different than other gyms that I had been in, where you're paying a membership, you kind of come and go as you please. Clearly someone was interested in wanting to know why and investing a little bit more. It was really actually committing to it long term, committing to something that I thought I could do for the long term. It wasn't going to be a 6-month membership and then I'd drop off and then I kind of stop going. So I think that, if I think about it, I guess that was the kind of the glue that kind of kept me in this gym, was the fact that there was somebody on the other end that was as invested as I was, and that was kind of the accountability piece too. It was like, I'm only as invested as you are, so if you show up, I'll get you there, but you have to show up every day and do the work. So last year, I had a goal of participating in this bike ride, 125 miles, Boston to Provincetown. It was a charity ride that I've always I've known friends that had done it. I kind of watched every year from the sidelines, and for some reason last year, I bought a bike and I thought it was a good goal. It seemed, pretty lofty but attainable because I knew people that had done it, and it seemed like a good motivator. And so I kind of committed a little bit on a whim, but it ended up being a great summer goal last year. It was actually great to have the integration. It wasn't like I had two separate goals. It was completely integrated. She said, great, let's find a way to work your programming around bike riding. Let's figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are, and then we'll align your fitness journey at CrossFit with your biking goal. And ultimately, I think that was probably may have been the thing that actually made me successful. I mean, I could have gone out and done training rides like everybody else, but I went into it a lot more confident knowing that I had been working out in the gym, doing strength training, hitting hills and powering through hills that people on these training rides with me were struggling with. Gave me a little bit of extra confidence to do it. The whole COVID pandemic has been, there's good and bad things to it. I think it's been a little bit of a challenge for me as a kind of a body in motion type person to be, cooped up in the house for such an extended period of time. In the beginning it wasn't so bad. I kind of enjoyed a little bit of a reason to slow down and take a break. And keeping up my routine wasn't so bad, but 4 or 5 weeks in, it started to kind of, became a little bit more of a struggle. Every day started to feel the same, and harder to hold on to those routines, those healthy routines anyway. And definitely became very challenging to, find the motivation motivation to make the most of each day and find a way to make it fun and challenging and enjoyable. Definitely, I think the thing that helped me the most was trying to find pieces of my old routine, my pre-COVID routine that put something back. They weren't the things that necessarily used up energy. Maybe they did, but they also kind of energized as well. One of those being, continuing my fitness, my appointments with Marion, continuing to try to find ways to keep moving, even if it wasn't the same challenge as it was before. It was a different challenge. It was, the challenge was actually making the space, making the time to do it, versus, pushing to lift heavier or more reps. So finding things like that I felt like, even if they expended energy, they were giving back something, whether it was joy or energizing or something along those lines. I think my biggest piece of advice to someone kind of starting a fitness routine of some sort is not to think about it too much. Don't spend too much time, thinking about what you're going to do or worrying about whether you can do it or not. I think it's about just kind of committing, even if it's 30 minutes twice a week, committing the time, like I said, just showing up and, find either a thing or a person that's gonna kind of help carry you. Once you show up, it's gonna kind of help carry your momentum and kind of build you up. I think that's, was the key to my success of kind of sticking with it and building on it was, finding that place, that thing that's gonna help you get there and not, dwelling on it too much and worrying and doubting yourself about it. I think the thing that's changed for me in the past two and a half years since I started here was really genuinely believing that I can do any of it, all of it. I never thought I was going to be a CrossFitter or that I was going to really be interested in lifting heavy weight or any of that stuff. And I think a lot of that was just rooted in thinking that you can't do it, that it's too challenging. Having done it now, having done stuff with Tradewinds, done the bike ride, I genuinely can tell myself with full confidence that I got it. I can do it. It may not be easy, but I can do it because I've done it. So I think thanks to the Tradewinds community and specifically my coach Mary for sticking with me and encouraging me and keeping me motivated over the last couple of years, but especially over the last few months as we've been trapped inside and kind of waiting out this COVID situation. And anybody who's sort of on the fence about it or has thought about it and has any interest in taking that first step in their journey, don't think too much about it, and just show up and